and it doesn't sound as impressive as when I actually explain what happened. Capitol rioter from Coral Springs dodges prison time. Coral Springs man who participated in the January 6th riot avoided prison time as his sentencing Friday, despite federal prosecutors requesting he serve 4 months behind bars. Felipe Marquez, 25, received a sentence of 3 months home confinement followed by 18 months probation, according to Courthouse News. Marquez's lawyer said Marquez has severe mental health issues and thought he had to go to the riots to protest communism. I mean, yeah, kinda, but that's neither here nor there. Remember, kids, death is a preferable alternative to communism. Also, Marquez, wow, a Hispanic man from Florida being anti-commie. Based. Sorry, from South Florida, specifically. I was confused about why a lot of people were there, Marquez told the U.S. District Judge Rudolph Contreras. I didn't understand people were going into the building to try and stop the certification. I didn't realize the extent of my mental health issues. I want to get help for this. I wish I could take it back, he says of his actions. Contreras, citing a slate of previous January 6 cases in which prosecutors sought probation-only sentences, said Marquez's case was hard to distinguish from the others, and he said he hoped Marquez would take a hard look at himself, blaming his actions on a confluence of events spurred on by then-President Donald Trump and powerful pro-Trump voices. Marquez pled guilty on September 10th to disorderly or disruptive conduct in a building or grounds, a misdemeanor. He had faced up to 1 year in jail, probation, and a fine of damaging property in the Capitol building. In a sentencing memo, prosecutors had said that they would seek a sentence of 4 months in federal prison time for Marquez, plus 1 year of supervised release and a $500 fine. Honestly, the $500 fine is the worst part. Just kick him while he's down. The government agreed to drop a series of additional charges against Marquez in exchange for his guilty plea. Marquez, who brought a Glock handgun along on the trip to Washington, D.C., told the FBI he was in the bathroom pooping when the violence occurred, federal prosecutors said in their memo. So you're saying he was full of shit. Marquez participated in the attack on the Capitol that forced an interruption of the certification of the 2020 Electoral College vote count, threatened the peaceful transfer of power 2020 presidential election, injured more than 100 law enforcement officers, and resulted in more than $1 million in property damage, according to the Department of Justice. Or as I call it, a good day. Marquez attended former President Donald Trump's Stop the Steal rally before breaching and illegally walking around inside the Capitol building during the failed insurrection, recording himself while inside a hideaway office of Oregon Senator John Merkley and sitting at the senator's conference table with other rioters, court records show. While dozens of other mob members, Marquez had physically entered the Capitol building through the Senate wing door just after the mob breached the entrance. Prosecutors said the line of police officers had been physically keeping the mob back, but they eventually overpowered the officers by pushing them backward. Prosecutors said in Marquez's sentencing memo. Marquez spent about 53 minutes inside the Capitol itself after driving from Florida to a pistol in a Tesla. They apparently did not remove it from the car while in D.C. Smart. Because remember, kids, if he had brought that gun into the building, he would have actually become a domestic terrorist. Regardless of what he did in there. Yeah, no, that would have... He would have been fucked. Yeah, sadly, this is... That wasn't supposed to happen. Oh well, fixed it. Marquez admitted to driving to Washington, D.C. with his Glock firearm, but said as he left the firearm disassembled in a locked case in his car while he was at the Capitol to comply with local laws. During the rioting inside a Capitol building, Marquez recorded video of himself repeatedly asking police officers for a fist bump. Once in Merkley's office, Vasquez took video of himself holding his vape pen up to the camera as if to capture the arrogance of the rioters, himself included, smoking in a senator's office during an electoral college certification proceeding to formally elect the next president of the United States. After the FBI caught up with Marquez, he told agents he spent a considerable amount of time in the bathroom while inside the Capitol. The government, maybe he found the Senate's coke stash. The government does not have information to confirm or dispute the assertion, prosecutors wrote. More recently, Marquez ran an end run around around a judicial order to surrender his handguns by signing them over to his roommate, prosecutor said. He showed up at law enforcement's radar again on August 6th at the Coral Square Mall, where a Coral Springs police officer found him toting around a black plastic firearm case with the word Glock written on it. Subtle. The police officer wrote that he encountered the subject. Subject confirmed that he had a weapon on him and that it was his concealed carry weapon license was suspended. According to the prosecutors, the suspect had admitted that carrying a weapon in public place, such as a mall, is inappropriate, but he did it as a sign of protest or suspension of his concealed carry permit. Marquez then left the mall voluntarily. Walking around the mall with an obvious firearm in a case while on pretrial release for a felony offense demonstrates both poor judgment and potential danger to the community, prosecutors wrote. There's a need for specific deterrence here because Marquez's actions, even after his arrest, do not indicate that he appreciates the severity of his criminal conduct. But Contreras was not swayed to sentence Marquez to prison. According to the government, more than 500 people have been charged in connection with Capitol riots, including some in wide-ranging conspiracies involving the Oath Keeper extremist group. Most of the riot participants sentenced so far have received sentences well below maximum penalties. Okay.